Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you some points which make a book perfect for me. I'm a reader who has many expectations when it comes to reading any of the books that I read, and I've listed the top 8 priorities for me at this point in my life that I consider for a book to be perfect for me, and I'm going to discuss all of them in brief in this video. So without any further ado, let's get into the points right away. The first thing that I consider is characters. Okay, I've told many times in the channel already, I'm an extremely character driven reader. Even if the book doesn't have anything related to the plot, and if the characters are amazing, I'll just fall in love with the book and read the book entirely for the characters alone. I don't want anything to happen in the story in a great way at all. I just want these interactions and what are happening between these characters, not what is happening to them. The things that these characters do are the main focus for me when I'm reading any type of book. And the characters that I like the most are the characters which are usually very strong and flawed at the same time, okay? Because those are characters who make an imprint in my mind personally, and I'm saying strong in the sense of how strong they are mentally rather than just being physically, okay? I don't care even a little bit for physical strength. If a character looks like a fighter, well-toned and well-trained, it doesn't bother me at all because I don't see such kind of people in my daily life. Those kind of people don't inspire me personally with the way in which I live my life. The characters or people who inspire me usually are those people who are going through a lot, yet they put up this bright face and fight their battles with a smile on their face bravely. Those are the kinds of people and those are the kinds of characters whom I get inspired by, whom I like, whom I relate with and resonate with in multiple levels. So the characters are a main point or the first point that I consider while reading any type of books, and they need to be mentally strong in some way or the other and flawed also. I don't want perfectly good characters because they are just boring, and I want to see realistic characters. The second one is the world building, and I'm not talking world building in a grand scale like we see in fantasy and science fiction, like a new whole world is built and the author is trying to build each and every monument in that world and trying to present it to our eyes. I'm not talking world building to such a granular extent. I'm just saying that if I'm reading a story, I want to see where it happens rather than just read where it happens. Even from being a child, I'm a person who wants to see the place which I'm reading about, and it always makes me feel like I am a part of the story than a person who's reading it from the other side of the page, okay? And a great example which I can tell for this one is one of my recent reads, and it is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is the first book in the Truly Devious series, which is a mystery series, okay? It's a mystery series which happens fictionally in our original world itself, but the way in which the author provides this setup for us and how she explains the school in which this mystery series actually takes place is the thing which made it very special for me, okay? There is world building in this one, but it is not a world which doesn't exist. She just gives us a picture of how this place looks, and while I'm reading it, I just feel like I'm along with the main character in this place and seeing these mysteries unravel. The effect that it had on me was really awesome, okay? It is a very cozy book, very thrilling also at the same time. I was not at all able to put it down, and one of the main reasons for it, despite the plot and the build-up of the mystery, was the setup, okay? I loved the setup in which the story was happening and how the author presented it to me. So definitely world building is a very strong pillar for me. The third one is pure extreme writing, okay? When I'm saying about writing, I want these emotions that are felt by the characters in the story to be translated into the exact words and make that kind of impact what the character is experiencing in my mind when I'm reading it. And I have two great examples for this one from last year which I read. The first one is Release by Patrick Ness, okay? There's not anything that is very great about the story. It has two different storylines going on which collide towards the end of the story, but the emotions that each and every character feels, one of these two characters is dead, okay? We are just seeing that character as a ghost. The emotions of that character, the emotions of that ghost are being said to us by the author in the exact words so that we can experience what she has been through. So that kind of writing and that kind of portrayal of emotion is something which I loved the most. And the next one is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've talked about this many times on the channel. We have two main characters and each experience that they've had in their life is totally different and polar from each other. There's only one common thread which connects both of them and one common emotion which connects both of them, and the way in which the author emotes these feelings through the words to me just made these two books just very special for me, and this is the kind of writing I expect in a perfect book for me. The fourth one is a consistent pacing, okay? I'm not a person who wants all of my books to have a really fast pace, okay? I just don't want to flip a book continuously and just keep reading it as such. I want the pace to be consistent. Now, if the first 50 pages of the book are heavily fast paced and the next 50 pages are very slow paced just in order to provide us the setup, it just ruins the entire thing for me, and the pace in which I am reading the book also. So I definitely want a consistent pace in which the fast and slow pace of the book can switch continuously, but it must be done in a proper way, almost equal, so that it doesn't feel tiring to read so fast something and then read the exact amount of pages for a very long amount of time, because it feels very dragging for me and it is not compelling enough for me to continue reading the book. So I want a consistent pacing always compared to a slow or fast pacing. Usually I know that many people prefer fast pacing compared to slow pacing, but I'm a person who likes consistent pacing compared to even fast pacing, because while I read a fast paced book, while I finish it, I usually feel very tired, and that's not the feeling that I want to have. When I read a consistently paced book, I don't feel tired, I just feel happy and satisfied towards the end, and that's the thing which I want to feel when I finish reading a perfect book. The fifth one is boundaries. Okay, I'm saying boundaries in the sense of I need to know what can happen because of some characters. Okay, for example, I can just quote a scene in which if we have 4 to 5 characters about whom we have all known something in the previous section of the story, and there's this particular scene in which one of the 4 characters is injured and is heavily bleeding, and one from the rest 3 is revealed to be a doctor, and they can just come and do first aid and control the bleeding in some way or the other. Okay, I don't want such kind of revelations to happen on spot. I want to know that this character who is said to be a doctor to be revealed as the doctor in the beginning itself, so that it makes sense at that point where that tendency of this character can be made use of. I don't want it to be revealed only in the particular instant where it is going to make sense. I want it to be revealed before, so that I can make sense of the story and not just go along with the flow. The sixth one is a very strong family or sibling dynamic over a friendship dynamic. Okay, I think in most YA books that we read throughout, we can see that the friend characters are given a lot more importance compared to the family or the siblings, and I do think that this must change a lot, because young adulthood is the period in life usually when most of us want the help of our parents and our family the most, and we don't feel like we want it from them. We actually want it, but we feel like we don't want it. I like books which actually include the family to be a part of young adult books. A good example for this one is John Green books, in which there are main characters. The family is not a huge part of the story, but the support that they show for the main characters is shown at each and every instant while the story progresses. And when it comes to sibling dynamics, I can definitely say my all-time favorite, the Shadowhunter Chronicles itself. In each and every series, there is some sibling dynamic going on always, and I'm sure that anyone who has a sibling knows how much important that relationship is and how much we can get out of it and how much we can give into it, especially in this young adulthood. Even in adulthood, I'm sure that anyone, even if you can see your parents who have siblings, they will be related and close to them in some way or the other. It might not be very much expressive, but it will definitely be there very strongly even compared to the parental bonds. So I always prefer to read a strong family dynamic over a friendship dynamic when it comes to any of my books. The seventh one is the point of view. Okay, when I'm reading a story from the point of view of a single character, I want it to be deeply paced. Okay, I want to know this character, how they are thinking, and how their mind is working. All of these things I want to know. It must be to such a great extent that we get the character's name as the chapter heading in the beginning, and as the story progresses, even if we don't get the character name, I must be able to understand that this point of view is from this character. A recent read for me, which proved to be an example for this one, is Lone Wolf by Jodi Pickle. I've talked about this many times in the channel itself. It's just been over a month since I read this one, and it is very strongly in my mind, because most of the things which I talked about, the setup, the family and sibling relationship, the writing, all these things are a huge portion of this one. But the strongest pillar, if you ask me, for this one is the point of view. We get 4 different points of view from the same family, and I'm sure that even if the characters' names are taken off from the title, the readers will be able to understand from which point of view we are getting this story, and each and every character is so well written and deeply focused without boring the reader. So this is definitely a great example for that one. The last one, that is number 8, is something very specific to me, and it's not even that important. That's why I'm putting it at the last. It's also a very light point. It doesn't always affect the book that I'm reading, because most of the books don't have such a great plus point when it comes to this one, and it is having a really decent cover. Okay, when I'm going to read a book, the first thing that the book makes an impression on me, if I don't know about its synopsis, is its cover. Okay, if I like a book cover, I'm obviously going to go and read its synopsis, and if it resonates with me in some way or the other, I'm going to pick it up and read it. At the same time, if a book cover doesn't look that great at all, I don't know its synopsis, but it is something which I'll be very much into, I'm not going to go to it that easily. So I definitely want a very decent book cover. I'm going to show a good book cover as an example and a horrible book cover as an example. Now for the good book cover examples, I can show these two, Finding Audrey and Wonder. You can just see the main characters being presented in the cover of the book itself and what we can expect from the story. You can just see that Augie has just a single eye on this one. We can see the difference in the formation of his face just on the cover itself, and it itself is very intriguing. It's not the best cover cover out there, but it is a cover which actually provides us the gist of the story and what we are about to experience from this one. And when it comes to finding OT, we can just see the issue that the author is trying to address from the cover of the book itself. The girl is wearing sunglasses which are very dark, and she's holding her hands together just like many people will do when they are very nervous. So these are two really great covers that I can point out as examples. Coming to a very bad cover, and it is The White Tiger by Arvind Adiga. Except this car which we can see here, nothing else from this book cover tells anything about what the book is trying to express and trying to convey to the reader. This is definitely one of my disappointing reads from last year. I rated it 4 stars for what it is, but personally I did not like it. I can rate a book 4 stars and still not like it. This is an example for that one, and this cover is definitely an example for a book which I'll not that easily pick up, though the synopsis sounds interesting to me, just because the cover doesn't look decent. And I personally think that if you cannot present your work, if you don't care enough to present your work in a decent and proper way to the person whom you are presenting it to, that's definitely going to be a lack of that dedication inside the work also. So definitely a decent cover plays a really huge role when it comes to making a book perfect for me. So yes guys, that's it for today, and if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel because I publish new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.